is up. I was sitting here and kind of zoned out for a little bit because I found my fingerboard and I misplaced a lot of my high school youth and school time messing with a fingerboard in class because I used to skateboard. And I learned how to fingerboard both like switch stance and regular. And for some reason I learned it with my left hand because I think I broke my right wrist skateboarding and I still wanted the fingerboard. So I'm not left-handed, but I learned how to use it with my left hand. Really weird. What's everybody up to? Joshua, trying a different tripod and different. It actually comes with a lighting system, so this should be a little bit. Let's see if this changes anything. Let's go about there. I'm still getting kind of a glare from my light above me, but whatever. What's everybody been up to? Put the camera outside. Brent, how you doing, buddy? Josh, what's up? Oh, Don, what's going on? Yeah, I zoned out for a little bit. I really got into fingerboarding for a second because I found this one as I was moving, but I don't even know what. I think that's like a pinky board or something. I don't even know what that thing is. I could set it down and do tricks over it, but yeah. I used to fingerboard a lot in class. I got so many of these taken away from me by teachers and stuff. But yeah, high school. Didn't have a lot going on other than a penny board. It's got to be something like that. It's ridiculous. It's the littlest thing I've ever seen. I mean, here's the size of a regular fingerboard, and here's this thing. I don't even know what it is. So, how you doing? I've been wrenching on other people's saws. No tree work yet. Oh, doing pretty good. Just we've had some kind of nasty work that we did. Actually, I was working on. I don't know if you can probably see it in the background here. Right here is the bollard. Greg. I've been discussing it with Greg, but we were doing that job that I just put out the video for the Spider Lake, and right on, Brent. Right on. Sorry, I was reading the comments. Can't do more than one thing at a time. So yeah, in that video, we were pre-tensioning a lot. We actually had a broken tree a little earlier before that was hung up. So while we were doing that tree, we actually bent the bollard upward. So it twisted. I'll show you how I originally had this thing mounted. So I had this piece of angle iron here. It's probably torn. Yeah, probably, Josh. I only got one kid though, and now she's too cool for me, so she's a teenager. I used to be cool. 15 below this morning. Dang! This is what I originally had it on there with. I used this piece of angle iron, and I had to take this off here. This would bolt to the bottom of, like, I would have my bollard here. This would bolt to the bottom of it, and then there was a hand crank winch that was on this. So, if you see there, it bent really good. We actually bent it back, and then was holding this on with a ratchet strap to add a little additional support, but it pried like if it was up against the tree here, it pried up. So I think what I did is I messed up and took the integrity out of this section of it when I cut this off. So live and learn. I wanted to compact it down because the addition of this much to the bottom of the bollard was was tough. It made it so long. So usually at the base of the tree it flares out, and I would have trouble with this leaving negative space back there. So because it being so long, so here's what I came up with. Oh, I sat out here fiddling with this for a while, but here's the setup with the winch to the front there. Um, I'm worked on this piece here and got it. That's just the winch cable. But I think I'm gonna have to cut a little groove out of here so that the rope doesn't rub and tear on it. But other than that, this section can come off the bollard. Ah, crap. And but yeah, it came out pretty good. I welded, and it's just held on back there like that. So it'll set below it, and probably an additional ratchet strap's going to be needed, but it seems to be a lot stronger and should be durable enough to take what we're going to do. So thanks, Jared. Hey, Jared, awesome. Hey, look, it came in the mail. I guess I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, let's see, hang on here just a second. It's supposed to be negative 20. Ooh, dang, Brent. That's supposed to get a little colder here, too. I think it's like, I don't know, like 15. It's probably lower than that right now because it's gotten dark. But this here is from Jared. So, or from Neat. So, he, at Christmas, sent me a package, and it had throw balls. He got me like 3 different throw ball sizes, which is awesome. The other one that I have fits in my gun, and I've been using my gun a lot lately because we were doing like some really big trees. So the gun a little bit more accurate, and I was in a bunch of underbrush, so you can't just spool a bunch of cable or like throw ball string out when you're in a bunch of stickers and stuff. So the cube really came in handy there, and I used the new ball, which is like perfect size. I think it's the 8 ounce, and it's the smallest one, but it fits perfect in my gun. I may try this 10 ounce to see if it fits. It would be nice to have one a little bigger. It kind of looks like it does, but this is awesome. This is a 14, so that's what came in the mail with a 14, a 10, and I may have a maybe it's the 12 I have in my bag here. I can't really remember. But yeah, thanks again for that, man. I appreciate it. I will definitely give them some use. What do you think about the Stein? Oh shoot. The Stein 301. You think it's worth the money? Josh, I do. It's a good product. Greg saved me a whole lot of money and like time spent waiting and deciding and this and that by with the bollard, and then the bollard was such a solid base to start from that I was able to add the winch to it with no money. I actually had that winch already, so I switched it over to some synthetic rope, so it was lighter and easier to use, didn't wind up and stuff. But yeah, I think it's a good product. I mean, Rich spent years and years and years perfecting that thing, so I think he's got it pretty dialed in, and I think their setup's probably the most efficient. So yeah, I mean, I think it's nice. Looks like it should be using quite a bit of. Yeah, yeah, I hope so. That's the plan there, because I want to be able to use it to lift and stuff too. And we had a cherry tree that was fell over into another tree, and I needed to lift it out. And in the process of that is where we bent. And at the time, I was just my brain wasn't firing right. I didn't even think about fixing that. I just thought it was broke. So I immediately had him lock it off, and then I went over there and harnessed my inner Buck and Billy Ray and just cut chunks and dropped the butt end down until I stood it up, and then we popped it out. So I may have that on. I think I have that on footage. So I don't know. I haven't had a chance to go through the old or the whole footage. I knew I wanted to do that discussion on the spider leg, because I don't know if a lot of people did. I know that, now that I think back on it, I really wish I would have focused and did a like close up of how to tie the spider leg on, because that's the only thing I didn't touch base on. But and the other thing, which did happen, and you didn't see in the video, but will probably show up later, is when you are using a spider leg and you have it like this, now this is a point to catch up. So if you're not taking the whole limb off and you're coming down, that point right there, if it gets stuck on a branch or a stub or something, it's stuck. So that actually happened in the video. I ended up having to cut chunks of wood. Dave, not paying attention, just lowered it right down onto it and stuck it. And it was stuck there. So I had to cut chunks of wood. One of the chunks of wood went down, bounced off the branch, hit the lady's fence. I think maybe put a dent in the pole, but we just pulled it back straight. But I was told that I could smash poles and they would just replace them. They're like $10, but I didn't want to do that. But in the process, you're kind of stuck if that happens. You got to cut chunks of wood to release it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have tied a prusik knot off to the actual rigging rope and hooked that chunk to it with a strap and cut it, and it would have hung to it. But I wasn't thinking like that. I was mad, so yeah, we had that mishap there. See, that's another thing with the spider leg. So y'all keep the cold stuff up there. Yeah, yeah, I'm not liking this cold, so it's definitely different when you find yourself climbing in coveralls and everything. So +5 here. I'm not worrying about getting scared stuff. Yeah. Yeah, definitely not going to get well. You may get it stuck because of the ice and snow. That's the other thing. I don't know, and sometimes with the snow, it's a bummer. It's so cold here right now that the snow's even like frozen. It's not slushy or nothing. It's just crispy and crunchy. And what's Josh? Well, yeah, Josh, everything's going good, man. Jake should, heck no, he didn't, Don. I still haven't heard from him, and I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. He's young. There's only so much you can do for a person if they don't want to help themselves or they're got something better to do. You kind of just gotta let them do it. But kind of invested a lot in that young man, and it's a bummer when you see that. His initial thoughts were, I found somebody that could maybe take it on and learn and develop as, a legit tree guy. That kind of went down the crapper pretty quick. That didn't last long. So yeah, but he's a good kid. He deep down, I wish he'd get whatever he's got to figure it out, and get on with it. But another thing I did is on that job I needed to have a knee ascender, and the knee ascender I built out of the hand ascender is very heavy, clunky. I didn't really like that idea, so I needed to come up with something different because we've lost my Haas Classic. Kind of bummed about that. I really had that thing dialed in and loved it. Um, it's definitely rough on the bones, Josh. You can feel it when you wake up in the morning or go to bed at night and like get to moving around, especially in the morning. It's rough. So. Under Armour, not. Yep. Yeah. Too much of that stuff though, man, is, oh god, your skin can't breathe. I have some that are just so thick and tight that like I have a pair of Nike Under Armour bottoms that, Jesus Christ, they'll cut the circulation off to my legs sometimes. So yeah, but I like my coveralls. They kind of slip over everything, and I can't wear coveralls. I have to wear bibs because like, if you try to wear a saddle with coveralls and spikes or anything like that, like you lose the movement in your shoulders, but with bibs, you can get away with it. And this just kind of flumps up and gets all crazy. But on that job, I needed a knee ascender, so I started thinking I'm always the type of guy that I hate to waste anything. If I have a tool that's around, I feel like I should be able to come up with some idea and be able to use it. I had a Panton foot ascender that I was not using. I had a big ISC foot ascender, which probably would have worked better, but I just gave that to my little brother. I say little brother, he's like almost 30, but or he's past 30. But I gave it to him because he's always so old school. I think the foot ascender would be a big deal for him and should help him out. So I had this little Panton. So what I did is I ended up taking the actual ascender off the foot straps. So if anybody needs an extra set of straps, the buckles and stuff like that for a foot ascender, let me know. I don't think I'll really ever have a purpose for. Well, I guess I could use it to lock into my foot and have like a clip-on knee ascender, but I don't need that because I was able to come up with an idea that kind of worked for me, and I've come up with it pretty quick. So Under Armour is the key for tree work. Yep, yep. The ability to be able to have full movement. You know, you can make a Haas type ascender pretty easily with some PVC. Yeah, yeah. Well, I come up. I needed to come up with something. It was like I'm kind of the person that waits, and the night before they're like scrambling to come up with an idea because they need it the next day. There's that. Yeah, it's an 8 ounce. The other throw ball. But so I had, like I said, I had that Panton foot ascender that I took apart and used. And what I did was, you just have to imagine the foot loop. So I need to adjust this a little more. This is what I came up with. There's the foot ascender. There's a bungee. All I did was on the back of this, I ran a real good strong zip tie, that's probably an oxymoron. How I just said that, a real good strong zip, whatever. Yeah, come up with the zip tie through there. I wish I would have actually flipped this bungee around because I got some negative space there. Wish I would have had it the other way. It would have put this closer to the rope. But then on the bottom of this, I just take my foot loop that I have a Petzl foot loop that I use on a hand ascender, and I just girth it right there. And so it's a straight knee ascender then. What I don't like is all this space that I'm giving away that I could be using in bungee. So I want to find a really small, short clip so that more of this length is being used with bungee, which will give me more action and more bounce, as opposed to giving that space away with a big carabiner. I don't know if that makes sense. Probably not the guy to be explaining complicated stuff, so. Yeah, bridge burner. It worked real good. I used it through the tree, and if you notice, I was actually wearing. We had to take the two longest bottom limbs on that tree. They are huge. They went out all the way to the house into the yard, but we had to take them two bottom ones on. I was actually wearing my spurs while I did that. I'll do that when I'm like taking entire sections out, and I'll just use a rope walking system and won't use my gaps are so small. They're so far from the ground. I can walk with them still being about that far from touching. So I just limb walk, and then when I need them and I'm really far out there to tie the rope, I can actually get on the side of the limb, and I'm just real careful as and make sure I don't use them. I have a rope walking system. I don't have to. So you can always double the bungee to get more power in a small space. Yeah, yeah, but I think the way this bungee's designed, the spring is just. I mean, I doubled it and I tried it and tested the spring. The spring was too tight. It's not. I need the long, stretchy spring to it. So I think these bungees specifically are designed for to stretch this way instead of like you're pulling on a centerpiece, so you lose a lot of it. So, but yeah, as you can see, I kind of had to adjust the length to get the right there onto the hitch climber so that it hooked up right. Um, Other than that, I think everything went pretty good. I ended up getting into there was a tree on there that I pointed out we had to do that was broken and it arched over. That tree was in really bad shape. It had split in two, and it turned out after I got into it that it was a locust tree with thorns, and I didn't realize it, and I had to deal with thorns about like this. I got stabbed in the inner thigh because I was like straddling the damn thing because there was no tie-in. Because I pulled my one out of the big tree, which was stupid. I don't know. I messed up a bunch. Back many years ago, I was at 30 below. Ooh. The Saka Mini does that. Yeah. Yeah, the Saka is... that's... If you listen to Richard talk about it, it has to do so much with that specific kind of bungee. So, it's a dynamic or... I don't remember what he said, but he referenced it to say, take a pair of scissors. If you can cut it in one swipe, it's not a good bungee. If it takes you a couple goes at it before you can get a super sharp, then you're dealing with the right kind of bungee that's going to give you that play in action that you want, that's real quick and spontaneous. Boom, boom, boom. Um, some bungees are real slow and stretchy. That's just not the action that you want. You can have so much better. Because if you see, that's not the straightest looking design. That thing stays cocked off to the side. But it's all about the pull up. Oh man, I hit my light. And yeah, it's all about that pull up and this thing running the line. And the foot loop being on it kind of straightens it a little bit too. But yeah, I'd say 15-20 minutes. I had this set up a little bit, probably another 20 to adjust everything. And yeah, that's how it went. Let me show you guys. I actually had time to set up my wall. This is just all stuff that I've gotten from people. If you've ever sent me anything, I've always kept it. So whether it be packages, letters, all that good stuff. So yeah, have more stuff to hang up. I finally coming across this stuff, and kind of humbling to see all of it as you start to pick it out and see how many people spent their time to reach out and say howdy or just a kind word. So yeah, that wall will be kind of dedicated to that, and I'll work my way over, and it'll take over the rest of the walls eventually if they're needed, and I'll move my stuff off of them if I have to. So guys, I didn't plan on standing out here and doing a real long live feed, so tracking with a bow. Oh, okay, yeah, I wondered what you meant there, Jared. Not with a bow. Okay, right on. Now I get it. I've used a little chain quickly for that. A really small one. Yeah, I actually have a Delta link. And yeah, that little chain link thing would work with the little bolt. I may get one of those. I probably have a little one. But a Delta would work really good. They're so small, they're that little triangle thing with the same design with the little screw on it. But I use that on my chainsaw because it hooks on the hook so nice. So when I miss it with the if I'm having trouble and I miss it with the hook on the back of the chainsaw, I can always hit it with that. So some stores carry big rolls of bungee in different sizes and cut what you need. Yeah, this is definitely not gonna work for a Neosender in the long run. I need to come up with something better. But that's not to say that I don't use this same setup here in some sort of pre-tensioning system for something like okay, when it comes to tree climbing, tree work, anything when it comes to trees, what I kind of do is first I'll find something about the job, a little task that didn't happen quick enough for me, or that gave me a little bit of trouble. Like now, I want the pre-tensioning process to become quicker. When I'm up in the tree and I say I want it pre-tensioned, it takes too long sometimes for him to set up with this regular prusik, and then you realize with the right prusik knot, the micro pulley's not needed to lift up. So getting that right prusik knot, getting that right rope, finally we've come up, I use the same knot that I use on a spider leg because I figure the weight that it's held when I've used it on a spider leg has always been so good that I could use it to pre-tension a rope and it gives a great bite. It's usually, 6 or 7 up and then run through the top, and that top loop bites, and it bites through all 6 loops. That made the process a lot quicker than him trying to remember how to tie a VT or anything like that. But yeah, I want that process of hooking up and going. Only way I can make it quicker is some sort of a hand ascender design that clips on and is able to be pre-tensioned even faster. But the problem with that is that hand ascenders are usually designed with heavy spikes. Foot ascenders are designed with spikes. Um, I don't need so much of that spike design. I need more of a I wish I had one sitting here. I thought I did actually. But like an adjustable lanyard. I have to buy a new adjustable lanyard too, but yeah, an adjustable lanyard design because they have more of like the broader teeth, and it's if you was to use a hand ascender on a rope to pre-tension, you take the chance of it ripping that outer sheave and tearing the actual rope apart and ripping it. You may not see the damage initially, but as you use the rope and it runs through your system and stuff, you'll see the tears, the frays that start to happen. Foot ascenders, hand ascenders are abrasive like crazy to ropes. Um, that's why you only have like body weight on these. When you switch them over to use them for other things, it's really hard on the ropes. So even though a hand ascender is so much quicker to clip onto the rope and hook the system to crank down on the rope and make it fast, you're tearing the rope apart. So that's another problem that I've been thinking about, that I need to come up with some sort of a design that allows that pre-tensioning process to be really fast and efficient, because I can't I don't want to sit there and wait every time for so long. So I need to simplify it for Dave, and but I think simplify it even more in general, because to simplify it for Dave, I'm going to have to really simplify the whole process in general, because I feel like it's pretty simple now and he has some troubles with it, but when we move to the new prusik knot, he's figured that out a lot quicker. And we'll just see. We'll see. Now that I got the bollard set up, we're going to do a lot more of that. Um, I'll do some videos on close coordinates rigging, like where you're really on top of things, the ability to swing it, lift it, stuff like that. And I've got a little bit of time now, so I'm gonna work on some stuff for you guys, and maybe try to put some newer stuff out. So yeah, Greg, a rope grab. I gotta. What would you guys suggest? Continue liking the Sunday evening, but figured something must. Yeah, the Sunday thing. I hate. The problem with that is there's so many people that go live on Sunday. You have Buckin, then oh, what's up, Jeff? What are you doing, buddy? Um, you got some new gear? Yeah. Yeah, Buckin goes live on Sundays, and then now I used to do the go. I would kind of go live. I'd make sure Buckin was done, and then make sure August wasn't on, and then I would go live. But now Nick Pixel goes live after that, and I think we share a lot of subscribers. And I don't want anybody to have to kind of pick and choose when I could just save my time and then go back at it. And when there's open time, that there's too much other time where a lot of guys aren't doing. They're usually, they seem to be running on more of a schedule, so I didn't want to interrupt it. So that's why the Sunday, I kind of switched from Sunday. But yeah, I'll try to do more lives. I just kind of, I wish I could schedule them for you guys and then have a better live, but I feel like my lives are better when I just kind of go spontaneous. When I schedule it, I'm usually tired and like, ah, man, why'd I schedule it? But then when I get out here, I'm fine. But yeah, there's always something to bitch about. So that's that's life. But guys, I'm gonna work on some stuff and you know see what I can get going as far as footage, maybe some how-to stuff, uh, some tricks and tips. I found some old stuff like some like clips from back when I was doing floating anchors and stuff like that. I may run through some old stuff. I don't really know, but like always, I appreciate the hell out of you guys giving me your time. I know you probably have a lot better things you could be doing. I'm gonna pick a few things up here, go inside and enjoy the evening with the wife. Um, I will work on content. I really want to do the video concepts we talked about. Checking out some. I've been checking out a lot of channels here lately. Some of the new people that have kind of made their way over. A lot of good content out there. So I suggest if you ever bored, you don't have anything going on, peek through YouTube and find a new guy that is out there and kind of widen the brotherhood that we have here. And yeah, I think you'll be amazed with some of the great content that's out there as far as other tree guys that just they may not have the platform yet or the audience yet, but you can get to know them on a lot more of a personal level while their channel is small, and maybe they'll remember you when they get big because there's a lot of great content out there that you guys, if you're not kind of scoping through YouTube, you can easily miss if you're only jumping on and seeing the ones you subscribe to. So I try to spend a lot of time doing that because I see a lot of you guys are making videos and the content is awesome. But guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate everything. Did I see somebody here? Hillbilly, you. What's up? Oh, I appreciate it. I would go live more often if I felt like I wouldn't burn you guys out. That's what I feel like I'm gonna burn you out if I go out too much. So I'll send you a pic or vid. This is what I use for a rope grab. Yeah, ideas for rope grabs, guys. I'm thinking the Petzl quick rope grab. They make a one that looks like a little trigger thing, and it looks really nice. That's what I would like is more of that design that I can work one-handed. So that's what I'm used to. That's what I'd rather have. So let me know what you use for a rope grab, and you guys have a great night. I appreciate you swinging in, and stay safe. We'll catch you soon. Be good.